Now, I'm going to keep this intro as short as possible, mainly because I don't want to bore you to sleep with my normal intros. I want to start by saying this video is being made as I have reached 200 subscribers on YouTube. That's honestly amazing. Thank you to everyone who stuck around and subscribed. Now, I wanted to get this video done for a while now, but I am the slowest worker ever made, so I basically just shoved it as a 200 subscriber special. Well, now that I have 200 subscribers, I can finally make this video. So instead of what I did for my 100 subscriber special where we talked about my most wanted in general, I'm going to extend that number and make it a top 10 most wanted. And from this, you'll be able to see my opinion change from around last year. I do not know how that video was a year ago now, Jesus. I'm going to make this quick since you all know what to expect from a top 10 most wanted list. For my top 10, I need to consider a few things. I need to see if thematically these matchups do one or more for both characters. This is important because with Death Battle, a matchup's thematics should take center stage, simply because this is what differentiates Death Battle from other shows for so long. Though the main thing you need to look for in a matchup is its core theme, which I prioritize over connection since it's sort of like a tagline. Even though sometimes the team prefers matchups with an infinitely worse theme, but that's for a different day. A matchup should also have a decent fight dynamic. What I mean is that the dynamic isn't one-sided, boring, or just outright bad. It needs to be good or else it just won't make the list. That's really easy to explain. Other criteria such as recognizability of the characters or the buildability of the matchup don't exist to me, as they aren't that important. If you have a good core theme and overall a good fight dynamic, then it's just good by default. That's all I really need to look for in a matchup. Some of these matchups are also very unlikely, but I have the power of dreams on my side, so I think I'll be fine. That's all I really look for in a matchup. I'm a fair bit open with them, so it's really linear. With all that aside, we can now begin the list. When this list is done, tell me your thoughts on these matchups in the comments, because I'd love to hear your thoughts on these matchups. Now, if you've watched my Kickstarter thoughts video, you will know that my favourite weapon is the Scythe. While this is still true, I have a close second when it comes to my favourite weapon type, and that is the sword. I like the versatility of this weapon, and overall some designs could look absolutely breathtaking. Like low-key, I would own a fair chunk of anime swords if I could. But which matchup do I like that incorporates the Battle of the Blades the best? Well, I'm glad you asked me. I knew I could count on you. Luckily, I got the matchup just for me. Akame from Akame ga Kill versus Raiden from Metal Gear. Two people taken from a young age to be raised as weapons of mass destruction by the enemy, which they quickly developed a reputation for as they were very good at their job. Both would eventually defect from this organization after learning of their corrupt nature, joining the protagonists in the revolutionary army to redeem themselves. Both would use a sword with very similar names to each other to achieve this, since it has very massive one-hit kill potential, thanks to poison for Akame or slightly molecular bonds for Raiden. Both would eventually go against a major antagonist who was planning to make things a living hell for the sake of their goal, which eventually they put a stop to, proving that they are a very effective one-man army. Now, I know what you're thinking, but Eva, why do you want Raiden back? He's already been on twice. Well, that is simple. I don't like Excalibur vs Raiden. This is why I fight! Survival of the fittest! Most reference here! My gripes of that episode aside, I think this is a decent matchup if Raiden did have to come back for a third time. Granted, I don't think he will, and Akame will likely go against X-23 from Marvel, but I don't know who that is because I don't really do anything about Marvel, and this doesn't really detract from my enjoyment of this matchup in particular, so not much I can do there, can I? Overall, I think this is a matchup that has a good chance to be similar to Silver Samurai vs Shredder. A matchup where the fight would essentially just end in a single slash, since both have very powerful one-shot potential. Both are also very quick with their blades, so I believe that the fight could be very fast-paced as well as exhilarating, or tension-building depending on how long the fight can be. Raiden does also have other weapons too, which I think could be really fun for Akame to counter, since she's fought many other characters with a wide variety of weapons before. I feel like I've heard of this dynamic before, and that's because it is similar to Toji vs Jetstream Sam, but I think this one is better than that, simply because Toji's weapons would break among touching Jetstream Sam's, whereas with this one, no weapons will be broken, they'll just be on the side. So therefore, I think this one does a better job at doing that dynamic better than Toji vs Sam. The final thing I want to mention is the music potential. It's sky high simply because of the Metal Lotus and the Lost Ice Storms remake, because they are such bangers and I recommend you listen to them because of how amazing they are. Brandon's track records with the Akame ga Kill track, as well as Raiden tracks in general, I think the music potential has the ingredients to be one of the best songs on the show, as well as being a good way to get across the ending, which is going to be very tense since the very end will end in just one slash. As for the winner, despite a comic mostly outstanding, the Sandato would just be able to make riding faster and get a clean cut in, and thanks to its durability negation from the Moon Star's molecular bond effect, a comic would likely just be annihilated because of it. But overall, this match has a lot of things going for it, which is why it's on this list. The only reason it isn't any higher is because a comic's probably my least favorite member of Night Raid. I don't dislike her, not even close, but compared to other members of the group, I just think she's the weakest in terms of an overall character. Though she does have the best matchup out of everyone in Night Raid. Overall, this lands at number 10, which is a very good indication of what's to come later on this list. Now, I like being so obscure media, since it's rather fun to introduce to people. Luckily for me, this next matchup has that, and that is with the form of Mahjong Taizen. This is a manga that's basically Record of Ragnarok, but you make the tournament style different, and you make everyone a woman. Naturally, given the similarities these two manga have, which matchup from this combo will make the list? Well, good for me, I actually have a really easy answer for this. Elizabeth Bathory from Mahjong Taizen versus Jack the Ripper from Record of Ragnarok. Two red and white coloured themed serial killers based on real depictions of them that go under the same name, where they get revived to fight in a tournament-style battle royale for the sake of a particular team to avoid distinction of their kind. Also resulting in the losing party of the round getting their soul destroyed with no way to be reincarnated. In their round, both are shown to be using over-the-top weapons, as well as often shifting into a more psychotic nature very often because of a theme around beauty. Both are also up against their complete opposite, as Hercules and Tomoe are depictions of justice, compared to Elizabeth and Jack who embody the darkest of humanity. They also contrast as well. Jack grew up poor and Elizabeth grew up rich, and despite them going on the same path of becoming renowned killers, Jack the Ripper killed the original Jack and simply took up his title, eventually starting a secret justice organization, whilst Elizabeth just outright hates justice and views it as hypocritical. For a series rivalry that has around 2 to 3 matchups, this one speaks to me the most, and this is because I think it does Jack's character the best. It goes into his more psychotic side well, and has potential to go into his younger side if needed. Whether it be as a contrast, or if the kills were based on accidental circumstances, since Elizabeth started from an accidental kill while Jack had to kill his mother in self-defense. There are other matches that do also go to Jack's character well, one of which being, funnily enough, another comic kill character, but I don't think they come on the similar level that this one does. And that is why I think this one narrowly edges out the victory in the thematics department. I can hear the 4-year-olds giggling because I said edges, but unfortunately these people do not know English because they're fucking illiterate. I don't even think I need to explain why the fight dynamic is good because, well, these two come from a series where the main focal point is to but fight after fight after fight. Of course something from a series involving fights is gonna have a good fight. That's like saying I hope his pizza has cheese on it. It's just darn obvious! But I mean, both also have unorthodox weapons such as a suit for Elizabeth and gloves for Jack, as well as Elizabeth being able to just create this massive Iron Maiden. You know, like you do, that's really goddamn normal. I see that every week going to the London alleys while I'm getting my fish and chips. I could go into the other weapons as well, but for the sake of not wanting to die of old age, I think I'll just select to ignore them. Interactions wise, I think that could also be pretty decent. I don't usually look for interactions because most of the time, I don't really care unless there's a funny character that outright just can't have any interactions at all. I think that's a case where it's pretty bad. However, this is not the case. The dialogue really comes from the psychotic nature. I just think that we really need to showcase that psychotic nature, as well as Elizabeth calling out Jack for him kickstarting a justice organization despite being Jack the Ripper at the same time. I think it could be really interesting since both have identical personalities at first, despite their completely opposite views on justice. Music is the hardest to talk about because Mahjong Taizen has no anime adaptation to speak of, and also Record of Ragnarok's original soundtrack is just there. I mean, it's not the worst thing about the anime adaptation. There's a lot worse, trust me. But there's not a lot to talk about either. So, yeah, the jury's out on that one, Judge. Overall, I think this matchup is really good, and I also recommend reading Mahjong Taizen. That's all you should really take away from this entry. I don't know if I've ever expressed my disinterest in comics before, but if I haven't, I will now. I'm not that interested in comics. Similar to others in the Versus Phantom, I too have an allergic reaction to reading, and avoid doing it at all costs because of it. Even though my Death Metal videos come from scripts I write at 4 in the morning, fueled by $.cola, don't ask. However, this doesn't mean that I dislike comic characters. One of my favourite characters from comics in general is the DC character John Constantine. Yes, one of the few comic characters I like is British, don't ask me how. I think it would be pretty interesting to have on the show, though against who is a tough question. I think one of his best is the Doctor, who's already gone against Rick Sanchez, but it won't be a while until the Doctor comes back, and I don't really see a way for the Doctor to do anything to Constantine that's really in character. And with the rest of Constantine's spread looking pretty okay-ish, I'm gonna go with the one you were expecting to say. John Constantine from Detective Comics vs. Rhino Kusunoha from Shin Megami Tensei. Paranormal investigators who negotiate and work with demons to get the job done, including the lives of their world's version of Lucifer. They also have a potential love interest with someone who's involved in their world shenanigans, and said love interest also has a dead father. Why is that last part in the connections again? Yes, shoot. Anyway, the play potentials are very divided because of the fact that most people think it is what John shouldn't do, and that's make him a son of them. Which I have a pretty simple solution for. Just don't do that. You know, the Doctor was a popular John Constantine opponent, and you know what the Doctor did in his death vow? He mostly ran away or just defended himself. Why can't Constantine just do that too? You can say that someone's a last resort, which is like what he normally does, so I just don't get it. John can also use his magic in self-defense if he needs to. He doesn't need to summon it off the bat unless things get hairy. Come on guys, we can cook here, it's not rocket science! The debate is the second biggest thing going for this matchup, since both counter a lot of the other fairly well, and also have tons of arguments for each other. But for who I believe wins, I just think Constantine has the better arguments, so I believe he should narrowly win. Although if the episode did say Rhino won, I would not be surprised in the slightest. Thankfully for us as well, we also have a very good idea of what the music could sound like for this episode, thanks to the portive Hellblazer, which does a good job at showing us what the music could sound like when combining rock with the more soundbite things of Shin Megami Tensei. So I think that when an episode eventually comes out for this matchup, they can 100% work with something similar to this to get good results. I think more of a Shin Megami Tensei influence is a good idea, so I think that's what sticks out more when it comes to this matchup, as well as would be good since Rhino will be the one instigating the matchup, with the more invasive Constantine running away and trying to outwit Rhino in order to get away from him. All in all, a very good matchup overlooked for a pretty easy to solve reason, nothing more or less to it. This is a bit short entry-wise since comics just aren't my thing, but I really like John Constantine, which really helps elevate this matchup for me. I hope it happens one day, and I'd like to hear how they would tackle Constantine's whole story. I'm sure if you've been in the Versus community for as long as I have, you are familiar with the term overdue character. For those who don't know, an overdue character is someone who should have been on the show ages ago by now, but hasn't showed up at all once. There's a few characters that fit this, like Saber and Shiro from Fate, Homer from Madoka Magica, or Luffy from One Piece. For me, this character is Nero from Devil May Cry. He's the only other main playable character that people care about, that people want to see on the show, and thankfully, he does have a matchup that I really like. Is it the one you're expecting it to be? Yes. Hellboy from Image Comics vs. Nero from Devil May Cry. Two hunters with massive buffer issues who had on had the potential to cause massive amounts of destruction. However, since both would reject their demon side, they salted their powers momentarily. When upon accepting them, they became stronger and developed a demon form, which goes along with their main weapons of choice being a sword and guns. They contrast with Hellboy's appearance looking more demon and human, other than Nero who is the other way around, and Hellboy taking no shit from anyone, while Nero is cocky and hard-headed. The thematics here are fairly solid, and does a good job at going into the characters decently enough. This is probably the second most thematic matchup I know Nero has, the most thematic being probably Yang, which is... I have no idea, that's really something. I know he has Alucard from Hellsing, but that does so little to the characters I have no interest in at all. Like, it has one thematic connection in it, but besides that, what does it do to bring Alucard back? I don't see it at all. The fight can be very fast-paced thanks to how Devil May Cry is usually a series full of fast-paced fight scenes with tons of flashy combos, extremely fun taunts, and over-the-top moves. I mean, Nero literally dodges two cleavers simultaneously by going in between them. You can't make this up if you tried. I think a fight style like this can mess with Hellboy well enough to the point we get agitated with Nero very quickly, which allows Nero to get multiple quips in, but it would ultimately culminate in the finale being Nero's double trigger being activated by Hellboy calling Nero deadweight, which I think he would 100% do. Could also have some fun stuff for Nero's arms that he gets in 5, but since there's so many of those, I can't even begin to elaborate on what they could do, or how they could fuck over Hellboy, so I won't be able to go into those right now, but I can save those for a fun prediction video if this matchup is ever fully announced. Dialogue can also be pretty fun too, since it has the whole series versus body contrast that's there. This whole contrast has tons of potential to be taking jabs at Hellboy for a couple missing attacks, while Nero flamboyantly dodges every last one of the attacks thrown at him. Although we do need to get at least one fuck you from Nero, that needs to be the episode because of how meaningful that line is in the actual game. Also, with Nero's flamboyant nature, you could also have Hellboy be very perplexed at what Nero is doing at first, before getting more and more agitated as the fight goes on. cultivate in Hellboy wanting Nero to take the fight seriously, which he doesn't do until the very end. In terms of music, I don't even think I need to explain this, as Devil May Cry just has a banger soundtrack. But if I do expect any song to be taken as inspiration for Hellboy vs. Nero, I expect Devil Trigger to be the main one since it's Nero's theme song, though I wouldn't mind a little bit of Subhuman, since the song title is a very good description of what these two characters are, and you can also take some lyrics from that song and apply to these characters. Another good inspiration would be The Time Has Come from Devil May Cry 4, but that's only because I really like the song. All in all, a very good matchup that I believe deserves to finally happen. Can we please just have Nero on the show? It's been how many years since Devil May Cry 5? That's a new transition. What are their 4 sets of eyes? Well, that's an easy question to answer. So, my favourite DreamWorks trilogy is How to Train Your Dragon, and one of my favourite Disney films is Big Hero 6. Yeah, I'll just get to the point. Hero and Baymax from Big Hero 6 versus Hiccup and Toothless from How to Train Your Dragon. Two social outcasts with big brains, who start as just nothing but a child who everyone looks down upon, and usually needs encouragement before doing anything and look up to one of their family members who end up getting killed during their time in the story. Both end up having a massive companionship with a creature they struggled to befriend at first, but they eventually understood all their quirks and they became their closest ally. Both saved their home cities on multiple occasions, though on one of those occasions, they needed to release their close ally for the safety of one of the members of the duo. Either Hero and Baymax with the whole portal limbo, or Hiccup and Toothless with the whole danger to dragons that keep coming up in Bark. But fanatics exist, goddamn. How many times have I gotta bloody say it? When does it end? I think thematically this matchup is pretty good. Not a lot of matchups these two have really go into them as much as this one does. So it's a nice mesh of their formerly quiet nature before stepping up to the plate and becoming heroes by the end of their original stories. And it also goes over their companion as well, which I'd expect to see given how both of them have it as one of the most important parts of their character and overall arcs. And it's in the feed because people are learning. The fight potential can actually be really fun given the time differences. The fight can 100% start because of time travel, which does sound like a very big cop-out, but given that Big Hero 6 takes place in the 2050, shaping up a billboard, I think that's what we can go with. For example, Hero can use the microballs to stop Toothless from flying, and can also use his electromagnetic suit in order to take away Hiccup's sword. Hiccup also has some items on him as well, such as the gas and sparks from the two-headed dragon, which he can use to keep Hero away from him when needed. There's a lot of other stuff you can go into like the plasma blades, but I will not go into that because it's not necessary, though I do think it would be a neat addition. With how majestic the original soundtrack is for How to Train Your Dragon, I know there will be much of a mess when it comes to track center around this matchup. I would want it to be moment where attention is raised. I think a key point of the fight would be Baymax using his rocket ops to temporarily knock Hiccup off Toothless, and the attention could be used to raise a back to some tension, which is similar to Gremlin in How to Train Your Dragon 3. Besides this, the entry is really easy to get down because of how simple everything is to talk about. All in all, a really good matchup I think is massively slept upon. Unless you just don't like Big Hero 6. You probably listen to that shiny crab dude. I know who you are. Alright, so the next entry is... Wait, why is my pipe suddenly breaking? What the hell happened here? Fucking on, bro. I need to call the goat again. Yo, another motherfucker broke the Sonic water prick. Please come. Thanks. Yay, time with the Prime H2O battle. Chaos from Sonic the Hedgehog vs. Kyogre for Pokemon. Godlike beings who control the waters before being sealed for several centuries, before being reawakened by humans where they flood the world and wreak havoc. This matchup is mainly stuffing me to friend Moses start a war battle in our Discord server, with the simple reason being that we just do not agree on the winner. Yeah, I still think Kyogre wins. I'm one of the few people who hold that ground. But the main reason for this is very simple. It's because I think the whole scaling chain that Chaos has is very flawed. Why are we scaling Chaos to something in the game he wasn't even in? And why are we scaling him to the Chaos Emeralds? Wait, I'm so sure why I like the matchup, aren't I? Well, you see, dear viewer, this matchup is fun because all the H2O shenanigans that can happen during the fight is both control the water. A better chunk of the fight would be them trying to control the tide in their favor, which could lead to them using the water to their advantage, like a shield in Kyogre's case or a geyser in Chaos's case. This also have some moves that can hurt Chaos, because you need to remember that I, yes me, the man you're watching, knows a lot about Pokemon. For example, Kyogre's signature move, Origin Pulses, is not water despite it being a water-type move. The attack is actually beams of light, and has an uncountable amount of them. While this is stopping because no limit fallacy isn't to giving Kyogre a one-hit death beam attack, we can deduce that this attack can very much still lower Chaos. Although Chaos is still much faster than Kyogre's speed, so Chaos can 100% just use Chaos spears that he has to shoot Kyogre while airborne, which will send Kyogre back into the water. There's also other moves you can use such as Aqua Ring, which in the anime created a shield so strong that Pikachu's Thunderbolt could even break it against a Swanna, a Pokemon that is 4 times weak to the Thunderbolt move. So I'd assume by this logic, that Kyogre will be strong enough to be able to guard a few of Chaos' attacks. For the record, no, I am not giving Kyogre Thunder. That's an outside influence move since learned via TM, and you can only give TMs via catching the God of Water at the age of 7, so I would not be able to do anything about that. Chaos is also have a freezing move called Chaos Bind, which is basically a Chaos control move that is similar to the move I just said. This move is likely to be given to Chaos, with the simple reason being that in Metal Sonic vs. Zero, they gave Metal Sonic the Adventure 2 Battle move, which is also where Chaos gets Chaos Bind from. One last thing I want to say about the matchup is that Primal Chaos shows very well just how hard the music for this matchup can go. Just overall, a matchup that is very good despite its very short core theme. The only reason it isn't any higher is because I think of more of a connection to the other matchups that are ahead of this list. Connection? Like the development matchups? Okay, I'll go now. Okay, you can let it slide at number 6 because they're usually together at all times, but no, that's just all 7 characters on the same image. Well, coincidentally, there's also a good reason for that. I like these matchups for very similar reasons, as well as it being in the same series combo. So, I just put them both in the same entry. Let's start with the more popular one. Alyssa Bosk, yeah, fuck no, from Tekken vs. Belly Palladino from Ruby. 2 robots will meet to harness synthetic life and will build up the scientist's shared daughter. Core theme alone already has me sold, since it's fairly unique. A lot of petty matchups usually go into a robot appearance, unless you're me, and you're built different. And this is probably my favorite matchup that goes into Penny being a robot. I've heard Sane from Lego Ninjago as a matchup, but I don't really care for it. And there's also the Power Rangers dude. I barely even remember his name. And there's also N from Murder Drones. Why? Yeah, Echo from the spread Penny has is the best matchup she has for me. It takes the right tracks, thematically it's really decent, and the core theme is very nice. So this is the dynamic, which I think is very fun. You can have fun moments with Alice's chainsaws because they go perfectly well with Penny's multiple blades, and both have decent enough range attachment to bounce off each other. Bonus points they lead to technical absurd moments and have Alice's head be used as a weapon is also a bomb. I don't see how that just would not be funny. Also, the music tracks, as shown from Iron Maidens by Fairwolf, can slap harder than your dad with the belt. And the best reason of all, I really like Penny and Alice as characters. I need them in real life. My emotional stability is a steel, so I'm letting them to my friend. But there's also another duo who share the spot. And who do those go to? Well, you see, dear viewer, these robots are very important to a character who went to a different direction in their family's bloodline instead of their shady British practices. They join the military, which makes them very distant from their family, outside of one member. And they hate their father. And, okay, how did we not think of this sooner? Are we still not over Tekken 6? Lars Alexanderson from Tekken vs. Winter Schnee from Ruby. 2 seemingly aloof members of families with very shady pasts that they decided to defect from to follow a more militaristic approach. Although they eventually defect from that too and go on their own path. Among this path, they deepen a bond with one of their family members, specifically Jim Kazuma and Wii Schnee, as well as have a hatred towards their father Heihachi and Jacquemus. Outside of this, they usually steer clear from their family's affairs until specifically the 8th installment of their series, Tekken 8 and Volume 8 of Ruby. This is because of Kazuya's new Iron Fist from the Tekken 8 and the attack on Alice during Ruby Volume 8. Oh, and also they share a very important plot point with the robots from earlier, but that could be swept under the rug, my friends. Now, I'm not sure how many Tekken fans will offend by saying this, because I'm not in the fan base, I'm not good at fighting games at all, but Lars is my favourite Tekken character, and I really like him a lot. And Winter, she's cool, but that's beside the point. I think thematically it's one of the better matchups that Winter has, and Lars, his spread is so all over the place, but I have a list of the dynamic. If you think Lars playing a large Beowulf sculpture is lame, it is you who is lame! And you will become less lame by subscribing to me. Shameless plug aside, the fight is Winter trying to keep attention from Lars through her abilities and range attacks, as Lars uses his fast-paced fighting style to try and close the distance between him and Winter. In the end, this cultivates in which she uses her powers that she gets at Volume 8 to try and keep Lars away from her at all times, as Lars enters his Rage Art and goes to close the distance with his lightning-based attacks. This is going to be the first track I will ever commission because honestly, judging from Iron Maidens, I think this track could also have the potential to slap really hard. And it also could make Peak Fiction number 2. Wait, no, Peak Fiction 3. I already have Peak Fiction 2, right? As for who I think wins, it's not really a debate as Alice and Laws scale to each other pretty well. And Laws went against True Devil Kazuya and survived, so yeah, the Ruby characters are kind of cooked. I'll add that to the list of petty devs. Now, if you know what I mean, I'm gonna cope while watching Ruby. I'm not crying. Okay, my lips. What do you mean Final Horizon Redcon one of the key connections? Oh, motherfucker. Can't have decent things in 2024. Oh, let me see what I can do. We have a decent biodynamic. Look, let me cook, okay? I'm smart, I'll convince you somehow, I'm cool like that. Sage from Sonic the Hedgehog vs King Ollie from Paper Mario. Two very small reality warpers who are among the central antagonists of their games, and are also extremely powerful beings in their verse. Both have their own dimension that they can go to willingly, or whatever that thing is in King Ollie's boss fight, I don't know what that is. Both also take control of a group of beings that are also kind of mindless. Literally, with the Ancients and with the Legions of Stationary, it's because they're about as arrogant as a British person on steroids. However, thanks to their with a yellow companion and a protagonist, both actually do something good. Although this does bring in one complaint that I've seen, with Sage's development coming across from nearly an entire game, versus King Ollie who's just, why are you against the Toads? Because I'm racist! Which, yeah, I can see to be fair, but I still like it. The dynamic for this matchup can also be insanely fun, even if you can't really use either of their armies, because in Sage's case, it will be way too easy to kill Ollie that way, or with the Legion of Stationary, they were probably just off kidnapping Toad, but then there was obviously around by the French Stationary. Hold on, that's me, I got to say, oh wait, look, this is way longer. Whoops, I need to stop with these jokes. Back to the dynamic though. The only real problem I can see is just Sage phasing through attacks because of her physiology, but just make it not do that.
Think fast, Chuckle Nuts!
Music potential, I believe it is really fucking easy to make a good track for this matchup. Literally, the OSTs for both games you are taking influence from have actual, full-on bangers. Let me just play an example from both games so you can get my point. The OC did not need to go this hard. And a reason why this matchup can be really high up is that it's unironically the first matchup I've ever had in my brain. No joke, I'm playing Sonic Frontiers on my laptop and I was making Sage like, why does she kind of remind me of King Ollie? And so I want to make some connections and boom, it's up here now. I think this matchup has really fun, tons of potential, and as for who I think wins, what is King Ollie meant to do exactly? Even with King Ollie's scaling being either Island or strongest of the villains in Paper Mario, or up there at least, Sage scales to the end to I'm 100% sure is a multiversal threat, which we still matter when he plays Ollie, he's kind of cooked. Not enough to the point where the dynamic takes a nosedive, but nonetheless, he is still cooked. However, despite this, I still feel that the matchup, and I'm glad it's one of the first few matchups I've ever made connections for. You ever have that video game that you hold dear to you because when you played as a child? That's me with all of Level 5 games. What do you mean I already explained this? Well, my favorite game from this company was Ni no Kuni Wrath of the White Witch, what was introduced to me via Stampy of all people. Literal quote made my childhood amazing, he did. So I wanted to know, do matches for this game exist? Not really. So I decided to look into making one, and I actually did found one and made my own connections for it. So, let's give it up for Lucas from the Mother series vs Oliver from Ni no Kuni. JRPG children who have their mother die soon into their respective plots after they go quote-unquote missing, before gaining magical abilities and going on a journey with someone that they had around them for years. During this journey, they encounter a woman around their age who has something special around them, and also someone related to thievery. The main goal in this journey is to stop an oppressive boss from looting over the world that they're in. During this journey, they also learn that the oppressive boss has a secret behind them that ends up changing the whole plot. the masked man being Klaus, which is Lewis's brother, and Shadar being Oliver. It makes more sense in lore, trust me. Both were originally timid at the start of this story, but both eventually rose up to do the right thing in the end and become heroes, even if the ending of Mother 3 doesn't make that apparently clear, because I don't know what the hell's happening. That's besides the point. I think this matchup is still insanely good. When it comes to the other matchups that these two have, it doesn't really match up with anything else that this matchup can offer in terms of how much it goes to the characters. Lucas especially, since his most popular matchup used to be Sunny from Amori. Two problems. One, there wouldn't be a fight since Sunny can't fight, and giving him the ability from the Amori boss fight would be a massive stretch. And two, I don't like Amori as a game, and Oliver comes from obscure media, but he does have Ori and Nate Adams, which... A magic fight is stopping you for Death Battle. One of the episodes in Season 9 was literally themed around two magicians, so I feel that this one can work insanely well, though it does need to involve all of his familiars somehow. I think it will be primarily just the one he mainly gets throughout the entire game, though they have to be fully evolved at the end. Which evolutions they do use though is up to them, because some of them do have branching evolutions, so yeah. When it comes to the magic clashing, luckily for us there could be tons of magical clashes to happen, mainly with fire and ice. Mainly because Oliver does not have any lightning magic, which also means he would not be able to be affected by the Franklin badge. I don't know what else to say about the fight dynamic. My throat's dying. Ni no Kuni also has some really banger music, so let me tell you, the music can absolutely slap for this matchup. Just listen to the opening theme and you can just understand what I mean. I don't really need to explain more, I'm a man who can't explain to save his life. As for who I think would win the matchup, Oliver is like multi-solar system because he survived the literal destruction of a pocket dimension. And it's good people who can use lighting spells, so Lucas is just kinda cooked. But overall, that doesn't detract from my overall enjoyment of this matchup. I really do think this is the best Lucas has, and also I believe you should play Ni no Kuni. It is peak fiction, trust me, you will not regret it. Now, my most wanted of all time. I talked about this a year ago, and now I will answer the question. Has it changed within a year? Well, if you thought my most wanted changed from a year ago, you would be wrong, because I am simple. I may or may also really still like Strap the End. Shino Hira Strap the End versus Gordo from Undeniable Birth. Snarky side wielders whose side correlate to one of the 7 deadly sins, with Shino's being themed around lust and Gordo's being themed around greed. Despite the setting around them, they are both still incredibly snarky and seemingly upbeat, though behind this less more troubled person, raised in essentially isolation, where they had basically no one to turn to and a very rocky relationship with their birth family. But Gordo likely not even having a birth family to begin with since his supply he's homeless. Eventually, both would join an organization as one of the key members, namely Shino as a Lance Corporal of the Moon Demon Company, and Gordo being the co-founder of Amnesia. However, both would eventually disband from this organization after a particular event, those being the reveal of the Seraph experiments and Roger's death, who was Gordo's friend. Basically restoring conflict between their former leaders, going against them to stop their corrupt plans which would put them and their found family, aka the other members of the now defunct organization, at risk. Unrelated, but the leaders of these organizations are described as manipulative and arrogant, and they both went against them because of experiment reasons. Yeah, I do need to give this a more up-to-date analysis since I made my original video back when it wasn't remade, and also the original video is kind of outdated. It was made back when I was even worse and explained than I already am, so I gotta give this matchup a better rundown. This matchup was given more thematics, and also has more potential to be fairer because of how Strap the End's scaling right now. But it's really helps potential because my fight potential is so god tier. It already got massive points for being a side fight, which you really can't go wrong with. Thanks to the other moves that these fighters have, there was a lot more you could do with it. For example, Shino's protection on Shikama Doji, which for non-Strap the End fans, which is like most of my audience, is a demon Shino controls. No, I will not explain the contract process. I want to get this video done as soon as possible, and I can't explain Strap the End lore to save my life. Anyway, Shino could just launch this projection as a projectile, and yeah, it does some serious damage, and it was able to defeat the shonen protagonists of this series really easily. Granted, this was an episode 3, so take that with a grain of salt. And with Gordo, there is a fair few moves that he has, such as Turbulence, which is basically a move where he hits you with Scythe stupidly fast. I'm just saying, moves like this against each other is unironically fire. And then the dialogue. My guy, this is just nothing but shit talk. You cannot be missing out here. Nothing but quotes from one to the other, going back and forth until they pay my fucking rent. Like, holy guacamole, I haven't seen dialogue funnier since the Xbox 360 live parties. Okay, wait, that could actually be pretty funny with these two. Get them on Call of Duty Black Ops 2. Thankfully, I can also answer for the music potential, because Shino already has Death Battle track, because the gods are blessing me in 2024, guys. The track itself was fairly decent, and has some cover that I die for. And overall, it would be nice to combine with Gordo's Sleep in the Night in Birth. Even if I do wish they could use Carmine's theme for the sole reason that being I prefer it. Except, wait, I'm not done yet, because the climax potential is so good it's going to make me climb out. Okay, I'm joking again, good god. Because, listen, there's a moment where Shino is possessed by Shikama Doji. I will not explain this, but the fear of my video will become 2 hours long. Just roll with it. And in the end, Gordo can finally take the fight seriously and begin using Snatcher, which is his hand that he keeps in his pockets. Attack from this can drain the energy of the one being hit by it. So, fellas! Gordo touches the scythe that Shino has, which knocks him into the past. Likely his bartender outfit. He sees Roger, and confirming that he's already dead, he charges forward and grabs Roger, breaking the illusion and taking us to the sky. But Gordo struck the Shino with his claw, and while they fall, since Shino is too tired to attack, Gordo uses Soul Punish to charge his claw, stabs Shino multiple times, and with it, slashes him with the scythe, which erases him from existence. What in the hell? Why does it go so hard? There's no reason for the kicks to be used this well. Back to being the again. This matchup has so much going for it, but it doesn't look like it's going to happen in the future. However, I have my own rebuttal, because there is a god! Let's go! Overall, I really enjoyed this matchup. After all these very different quality levels of explaining, I believe that as long as I push these matchups into people's faces, use legal methods, or just hold people at gunpoint, people will support me in pushing these matchups. So, did I convince you in any of these matchups? Do you want to send me your top 10 in the comments? Do you want me to blow up Malaysia? Then comment down below while I go back to bullying kids on Roblox. Woo!